Any Andy who is
Okay. It's 5:02. I'm putting this meeting to order. Um, the first line item that we have in the agenda is the approval of the agenda of the minutes of May 2024, 2023. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
second.
Next we have announcements. I want to welcome everybody back to the Health and Awareness Committee. It is an honor to be the chair, to be able to lead this committee along with my colleague Ms. Hakim and Robert Santana. I'm very excited for this school year, and I want to thank all the subcommittee that did hard work last year. And PPSD, Sandy, and Judy, they continue to do amazing work with this committee, so I'm very thankful. And one more announcement that I have, and if you didn't come to our last board meeting,
Sorry, it's repeating.
yeah, so one more announcement I have. So if you didn't attend the last board meeting, I announced with the whole board that we're gonna try to have our next meeting actually in schools, because we need to hear from to facilitate for teachers and students to come to our meetings. So I'm gonna work with Julie and James. We have a meeting about it. We're gonna talk and how which school that we can go to, and also what days. And yeah, so the next step is the introduction for the a member of the Health Awareness Committee. I see some new faces here today, so I'm just gonna, if somebody can, if you can go around and say your name and what subcommittee you are in, and yeah, we can start from there.
So I'm Julie Lombardi. I'm the Executive Director of Student Support. I'll be overseeing this committee now in the place of Sandy. So I wasn't actually on a subcommittee last year, but obviously this year I will be part of one. So looking forward to it and working with all of you.
Sandra Stewart, Chief of Student Supports here at PPSD. I have led the committee for the past couple of years and have really enjoyed this group. This has been an incredible, hard-working group that's been just really rejuvenating for me. And so I am passing the baton on to Julie, but I still will be, helping and supporting as much as I can, because I don't want to completely, because I do enjoy it. So this is such a great, great group. But as new initiatives start to happen in my office, I am starting to really, send some of those to other members of my team. And Gina Sylvia, who also really supported a lot last year, has now moved into another department. But as you can see, we still have her here. So she now is falling under the school team. However, she still will support us in SCL as part of the counseling work. And we really were really happy last year with a lot of the great work that each of the individual working groups did, and really look forward to continuing that same work. And just thank you all for being here. It's so great to see some new faces. Really excited about that. And I'm going to turn it over to Gina.
So Gina Sylvia, Director of School Counseling. I work with all counselors in K-12, as Sandy mentioned. I am no longer part of the student sports team, although
Sadly,
you
didn't want to let her go.
Revolves around their team. So I will now be under the Office of School Teams, the transformation officers. So last year I was part of co-leading the Healthy Relationships Subcommittee.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, stay there. Are we going around? Sorry, doing.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
sorry.
It's all you.
Sorry to say. My name is Jack Russey. I'm a dad of two PPSD students. I was on the Healthy Relationships working group last year. My day jobs, I work at Hasbro as an adolescent medicine physician and researcher. Yeah, so excited to be here. Welcome back, everyone.
Hello, I'm Cynthia. I work at Day One as prevention coordinator, and I should be on the health relationship subcommittee. And pretty much I go around to all the middle and high schools and talk to them about health relationships, dating, violence, online dating, violent intervention, kind of like the whole spiel. And we just now started programming for the elementary school, and we're aiming for like 3rd to 5th grade. And hopefully by next semester we'll have piloted in kindergarten to the 2nd grade program.
Hi, I'm Warren Heyman. I'd like to join the committee. I'm the organizing director for the Rhode Island School Recycling Project, and we're doing a program in 4 schools: MLK, Barton Gregorian, Levittown Dual Language, and Nathan Bishop, and we're about to expand into Debate and Fogarty, and then we have money to do 2 more schools that we haven't decided yet. We're working closely with Aaron and the folks at Sodexo, diverting food from the landfill and the healthy edible food that's still good, getting to children that are still hungry, and then composting and recycling, and we're trying to interface with the students and the principals and parents and everybody, so I'd love to join the committee.
I'm Andrea, I'm the school board policy advisor, and I'm here so if you guys come up with any policy ideas or want to do anything editing, I can help facilitate that, and I know like what the thinking is behind it, and we'll be able to do that.
Andrea is currently working on our Nathan Bruno suicide prevention policy, which we've been researching, utilizing a lot of what RIDE has and adopting that. So she's going to be working on that for us, and hopefully some other updates to small policy. So we're really happy to have her on board. Really happy.
Hello everyone, my name is Denisha Thank I use she, her pronouns. I'm the Equity and Belonging Program Coordinator with the Equity and Belonging in Spirit College.
Hi, I'm Joanna Raymond. I'm here from the URI Nutrition Education Program, member of the Nutrition and Physical Activity Working Group, and excited for the school year to start.
Hi, my name is Josh from Portsmouth. I'm a high school senior at the East Bay Met, not the one here. I've spent one of the days up here though with the public street Met. I interned with the Met Kitchen for my first year there, and I interned last year at Thompson Middle School as PE teacher.
Hi, I'm Simone Planchak. I go to classical across the street and I'm a junior. I would say I help like advocate for mental health in my school, and like I'm on a lot of the groups within our school that help support that.
I'm Tanya Gilbert. I'm from the Healthy Communities Office, and I had the pleasure of working with these 2 youth over the summer with Rhode Island Teen Institute, and so I invited them here so that we could have a youth voice and coming. And I was previously working on the healthy relationship.
Hi, I'm Aaron Leonard. I'm with Sodexo. I'm the Director of Wellness there. And going forward this year, I'll be presenting some of the stuff that Sodexo is doing based on wellness and initiatives and local purchasing. As Kelly, if you guys remember her last year, she is transitioning out of her role, becoming a full-time stay-at-home mom. And I think, being home for the summer, she kind of like, oh, don't want to leave that. So she's going to be here tonight. She has a little report that she has that we weren't able to present out last year because the meeting didn't happen. And then we'll get back on our schedule of reporting out every couple of months.
So Aaron, you'll be our point person from now with
Yes.
that for Julie and
Yes,
I. That's good to know. Great, thank you.
Yeah, my name's Kate. I'm a food corps service member. I'm working with Sodexo and Aaron, trying to assist with their goals.
Yeah, so Food Corps, people don't know, it's a nonprofit group that we teamed up with. A lot of the states around us use them, and they're advocates for our school to advocate different goals. The 3 goals that we have for them this year is sustainability. So, YouTube and Epic Up. And also outreach. So helping us promote the good things that are happening in our schools around food service operation. And also student feedback and taste tests. So they're able to go to things during lunchroom. If there's something that's happening outside of school, they can go there and assist them with some sort of taste or food or education piece for any of the programs that happen outside the school. So I know we're trying to get the word out there to principals, like if you're having something outside of school and want us to have a table, we have dedicated people now that can go to all of them. There's 5 in one day, maybe not, but we have dedicated people that can assist and do some food outreach during those events. We're happy. There's 3 members that we have: Kate, Isaac, and Leon.
That's exciting. I remember presenting the idea 2 years ago in the spring, I think it was, 2 years ago about it. And so it took, I know all last year, a lot of planning and.
Yeah, because they've never been in Rhode Island, so we had to convince them to come into our state. We partnered with them in Springfield, our town in Springfield, Mass. So we do food service there, and it worked out very, very well. And we had, I think, almost 6 members there. So we started out small, and we add every year to different groups.
That's great. Welcome to PBSD.
Hi, everybody. My name is Terry Gregg. I'm the clinical manager for Rhode Island Student Assistance Services, as well as the program manager of Teen Institute. I'm happy to say hi, everybody. Nice to see you both. For those of you who don't know what Teen Institute is, it's a leadership training program for youth. Sandra Del Sesto and Gail Mastro Pietro were the creators of the program. It went on from 1989 to 2010. I was part of that from 1989 to 2010. And I was so pleased and proud to have it come back this year under the umbrella of Rise Heights. And I did the program.
Rosemary, I think you didn't.
Oh, yeah, and hi, I'm Rosemary Riley Shamat. I'm the Associate Director for School Health and Extended Learning at the Rhode Island Department of Education.
Thank you so much, everybody. The next line item that we have in the agenda is planning. And so we need help with our recruiting. We need more people, especially more youth, to join our subcommittee. So can you tell us about the effort with the communication department?
Yeah, so, obviously we'd like to hear from you if there's any other ideas around recruitment, but what we've done in the past was come up with a Google Doc and kind of send that out. So then people could sign up, and then that's how I would just add them to the meetings and then, email that out so that people could attend and, join with us. So that would be one way. I don't know if there's any other sort, email it to you, if there's other people that you can reach out to. Especially it's great having the youth here because I'm sure, you can share with friends or, at the building level. So there's any, and then we would also put it in the newsletter as well. So the newsletter that goes out to families and principals.
We'll put it on the website as we did last year, but we would really like to get more students.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have you both be, our ambassadors and share. They don't have to come to every meeting. Even if they come 1 or 2, it'd be great. And some parents, some more parents. We try every year to keep recruiting parents, but we know everybody's so busy. But we really would like to, increase the membership of this committee. And so Julie will put it on the website. Please share it. I know many of you do with colleagues around. Some people still sign up even if they can't attend because they want information. That's fine too. So we just keep track on that Google form so that we know, who to include on the invites. And then anytime anyone reaches out to us and says, hey, what is about the health and wellness, we send that to them. We're like, why don't you join? And that way it kind of keeps track for us of, who our usual members, consistent members are. And then, like I said, there are some that just will either watch the meetings or just want to share just the information, and that's fine too. So Julie will share that out. We'll put it on the website. We'll put it in our community district newsletter. And then if you please could spread the word and help us, that would be great too.
Yes. Does it go to the face office? And,
We usually do something with them also, like with the PAC, to kind of share about, the committee and whatnot. So Julie, we should
Okay,
probably
yeah, I'll send
remember
it directly
to them and maybe schedule something with them for PAC. We usually do try to recruit that too. I don't know that Rusty, we could maybe,
Yeah, I was gonna suggest the same thing. I've never been to the PAC meetings, so I don't know how they work, but it'd be nice to just like vocally say it out loud in addition to.
we answer questions in case they have questions. And sometimes we get a great turnout and I send the Google Doc and we might have 2 or 3 families that, will sign up, but so we want to get them here. But maybe go into different schools, maybe might help. We'll be in the community. Maybe that might help anyone who's close in that area or, with that particular school, we can make sure the principal sends something out. But we would like to, obviously keep growing, which is great today.
Yeah, we have a great.
We have a lot of great
turnout,
new faces, which is great.
Miss Lopez.
Is there a list of like required members that need to be on this committee, or is it just like anyone that wants to join?
I would recommend like any organizations that work with the districts or with youth, and I would recommend to reach out to them. Like for example, last year we tried an effort to reach out to the Refugee Dream Center. We have about 400 youth that attend PPSD. So if you know an organizations that work closely with the community, and that should be the organization that we should reach out. You have a question?
No, I have a suggestion. So I run the Providence Stack Middle School and High School group supervision. I can also bring it to them and talk. And Josh, maybe you could be our guest speakers to let them know what it's about. And you could let the other student assistance counselors know, which kids they should invite. So we could do that as well. And then the CYC is really in touch with the community. That might be another agency to reach out to have at the table. I feel like they would be a great addition.
We actually have a meeting with them next week. They're one of our partners.
Yeah.
So if you remind me, Julie, I'll make sure we mention that to them too.
They would be great.
Hi, I just have a question. What about like principals and teachers? I know they've been on the committee in previous years, but I just feel like lately there hasn't been any representation, so I didn't know if there was like an incentive or something to recruit, just so like we can ask questions about like what's feasible.
Yeah,
Because we have great ideas, but
We can definitely reach out. Tomorrow there's a principal meet. Can I help you?
Is this for the Teen Institute?
yes, is Kevin there with you?
Yes.
Hi, Kevin. Another one of our.
Yay, go ahead. Welcome.
Meet you at 6:30, okay?
Thank you. So I have actually principal meeting tomorrow. I'll mention it. I'll send it to them. We always invite them. We always invite the teachers. I think this year is a really tough year. They added the extra half hour to their day, and every other week they do 90 minutes of professional development. So, but absolutely, we will continue to reach out. Anybody is more than welcome, which is why we put it on the website too. Julie, why don't we make a note to put it on the principal weekly newsletter? Did you put that?
Well, I said that, yeah.
Yeah, we'll put it on we'll make it on the reminder about it.
Is there a graphic that we can distribute or a flyer? If not, I'm willing to make one for you.
We would love
Well, I
that
would
because
love
Julie and I probably are not too artistic. So if you could do that, because your graphics are so great.
I know, I just saw the ones that just came out.
I know, they're so beautiful. If you could do that, that would be great. Great, Deja. We appreciate that. And we could definitely share that, yeah, and at events, we could leave it
Yeah, and I
out.
can put the Google,
I think with the flyers, once we have the flyer, let's print it, actually give it to board members, subcommittee members, I can take to the organization that I know to make sure that they put it outside their offices and to talk to parents.
That's a great idea.
Yeah,
Yes, good idea.
that's great.
This is why we're asking.
Right.
Use the QR code just so they can
Yeah.
go right to it.
I think I actually know how to do that.
I can help you with that because I do know how to do that.
I've done it, yeah.
If you send me the link, I can put this work on the graphic for you.
You can, okay, perfect. That's great, thank you.
Yes, so we've talked about like families and youth coming to these meetings, and I think one of the things that come up in the past is like time and it's challenging and transportation. I know other youth organizations I work with, like they pay young people to come to things because their time is valuable too. I know many of us are here because we're volunteers, but like personally, I have the resources to get myself here and like the flexibility in my job. So not everybody has that. So I'm just curious, are there funds available in like grants that, you know, mental health? I know there's a lot of grants out there, but I'm just curious if that was something either we have or we could maybe write into a future grant, because otherwise I know there's not like lots of money lying around, but it does seem like that could be helpful. And even if it's not like paying straight up, maybe it's like having some food or a gift card, because I just feel like it's hard to recruit, because I've definitely done it, like many of us, when even though it's a lovely, we're doing good work and I want to, I think people want to participate in that, but I think there's also just like some realities about, especially if we want young people and families here. So that's just a question about the funds, I guess.
Yeah,
I
I'm gonna,
I think
yeah.
Natalie was going to actually, she couldn't be here with us today, but I think she was looking into that, Dr. Leslie, with a lot of like our school-based mental health grants and like some of the other grants we recently applied for. So I think she was looking down that way, because we talked a little bit about it at the end of last year too, how we could do that. So she's not here today, but we can follow up with her to see if, you know, what her plan was with that.
Yeah, and even teachers, honestly, in preschools, I mean, like, my wife is a teacher, like, she's got a lot on her plate. She would probably be, not she in particular, but I could imagine other teachers being interested, but it's like an extra thing for them, so, yeah.
I agree with you. I'm gonna work with Sandy and community members to make sure that if we have available grants or just gonna try to apply for some funding to make sure that happens. And next we have helping awareness. We got, I think we talked about it, and also the next we have expectations of health and awareness working group. So now that we're gonna do, I'm gonna do this.
So the three work groups are the nutrition and physical activity, social emotional learning, and healthy relationships. So Natalie is leading, I believe, the social emotional learning. I'm not quite sure who was running or leading the nutrition and physical activity. Was there anyone in this group running the nutrition and physical activity? Okay. And then, so one other thing, we will need someone in place of Gina to run healthy relationships. Because she will no longer be running that group. And we do have a large crowd here, so hopefully there would be someone interested in leading that group. Yeah, so I think we need to go through, so do you want to start with nutrition and physical activity and describe a little bit about the
The nutrition and physical activity group, it's just that, it's making sure that the students are receiving the proper nutrition and, meals, lunches, breakfast. I am attending in October the Healthy Breakfast Workshop. It's a statewide workshop. I'm really excited. I did invite the chairman and my colleague as well, Dr. Robert Santana, to attend. I think it would be great if we attend as a group to learn more about those components, making sure that the students are properly fed with well-balanced nutritional meals. And then the physical activity is just that, making sure that the students get their necessary recess breaks, making sure that they have, opportunities to attend outside, sports and recreation, something that they might be interested in, and just getting, students moving, getting them interested in those extracurriculums, if you will.
Thank you.
And
Um,
just a quick
okay,
question.
absolutely.
Mr. Kennedy, would you be comfortable in this
Yes,
subcommittee?
absolutely, yes.
And also,
Yes.
and for Ms. Roberts, do you wanna be part of the subcommittee?
Anyone, I mean, where you need, whatever, wherever you need.
Okay, you can choose. We have the three subcommittees, and I don't know. So I think what Judy was saying that we're gonna break into groups on the two subcommittees, and also talk about the expectations and also the goals that we have for this school year, and also and how this subcommittee is gonna work together and what this committee to make sure it happens. So,
Yeah, we can go through the other two as well, just so everyone understands what.
There's a question about when you say lead the group meetings. So if we're thinking about if we want to do that or not, what would be the expectation around this meeting?
Right, so, I know I know that you can, if you
Yeah.
want to speak to healthy relationships, so I know you guys met an hour before.
So setting a schedule of when we would meet, the agenda, and then follow up. There was usually like someone from PBSD team, and then one of the partners co-leading the groups, location, just
The organization.
keeping it
Yeah,
going.
yes,
Yes,
exactly.
and-
Yeah,
Yes, thank you.
Coming up on IT.
Right.
Can I just add, we're all in groups like that? Because in our group, like you and Hannah were leading it, co-leading it, which I thought was great. Because it was like a PPSC
Right.
person and like a community person.
Right.
It's a lot. I don't know, like you tell me, but it seemed like it was a lot to do as one person, but
It is.
also it's nice to have, like, I feel like if it was just a community person leading it, it might also be challenging because, like, I don't know. I just relied on you to help answer a lot of questions.
Right, like I
So-
was the contact, for PPSD to share out with Sandy or get information, bring it back to the group. And even just the logistics of it, right, like the location. So I would reserve our space to meet. But yeah, it definitely, I would recommend someone co-leading, both, from both sides.
I think in the past, there was not always a PPSD person on the subcommittees, which was challenging, just speaking from personal experience, because we would talk and we'd be like, yeah, I don't know, we think this thing might be true, but we wouldn't really know because Gina wasn't, not Gina in particular, but
Right.
that's
Yeah,
someone
right.
in the
Someone
district.
from the school.
On our
Yeah.
end.
We tried that 3 years ago and it didn't work, like that was so valuable, so that would be my thought, is like,
No, I like that
the
idea.
question of what does it mean to be,
Yeah.
like having somebody from the district on there, at least one person.
It is my understanding that Natalie Fleming was leading the social emotional learning group. She couldn't be here tonight, but I believe she will continue to lead that. I know it was more about like mental health and things like that. So unfortunately, I can't really speak to that group, but I mean, I know it revolved around like social emotional learning. Was anyone on that group with her that could maybe speak to?
I was on it, but we didn't meet but once. So, and she did most of the work herself, I have to say. She really did an amazing job.
Okay.
And it was focusing on curriculums and bringing a mental health curriculum to the schools. She talked about she had that great PowerPoint, if you all remember that at the end of the year last year, where she talked about having teachers putting rubrics in for mental health and making sure the social emotional is being paid attention to. So I think that was a big piece of what she was doing. So she was amazing. So I would highly recommend joining that.
Okay,
Yeah,
awesome. Okay, good.
It's a lot done.
And then I'll just let Gina speak about what healthy relationships, what your group did, and then we can.
Yeah, so our focus this year was really on the health curriculum and making updates to it, with a big contribution from Jack and Tess, right? With recommendations. I mean, our whole team really dug deep into it and worked off of the recommendations to share out with Donna, Sandy, and trickle down to the teachers.
and we had a presentation that we wanted to present to everyone, but because that last meeting got canceled.
We can put it on the
I mean,
agenda for November, yeah, we can do it for November, is that, I think we talked about that, yes, we did.
Yeah.
So for
We didn't do
November.
it today, but we can.
We'll
Next
put
time.
that down.
Yes. And I just wanted to share too that like something that came out of that this past year was like we wrote up our process, submitted it to a meeting, like a adolescent health meeting that I go to. So I just wanted to highlight that because it's really like a collaborative effort. Like a lot of the folks sitting here were like on that submission. So I just think it was a nice way that we could sort of get, these are the things that we did. And Sandy was on there too. So I just wanted to highlight that.
Great. Okay, so I know we had spoke about maybe trying to split up into the 3 groups and just kind of talking about, you know, if there's a group that you'd like to be on, possibly lead, co-lead, and then, you know, so we can kind of divvy up, you know, what's going on and see how it works, so.
Can I just-
Um,
I just wanted to ask a question. Are there like specific goals for what you want each group to do this year? Because I know last year it was a lot of support for the curriculum and like we developed resource lists for teachers. I don't know if it ever got to the teachers, but yeah, I was just curious if there's a goal.
I think we set the.
I was gonna say, I think the
Yeah.
groups, I think they set the group, the goals are set in the group, so I think.
Like what's
kind of
our,
Oh, so
that-
you just
yeah.
want us
our
to-
goal that we want to do?
Yeah.
What group?
So I
Yes.
I had a
Go ahead.
question. So I know that these groups have been in place for a while, and I'm wondering if there's other emerging issues that people are seeing, you know, with the student body, with teachers, or our schools, and not have to be answered like right now, but I had been thinking about that, if there's other, you know, opportunities.
I'd love to hear from the youth, yeah, if you guys have any ideas.
I'm like, how to
So what are some of the emerging things?
the school, like mine specifically and just in general, we're talking about attendance and vaping and how that's affecting people. One of the, I'm a part of the superintendent's student committee, and something that we all talk about on that is vaping and how teachers and administrators kind of overlook the underlying causes of that. Like vaping doesn't just come from the act of just wanting to do it. Like there's this underlying cause, like maybe the student is feeling pressured or is struggling with something and they're not seeking treatment for it, and so they use vaping as a way to cope. And that's a problem throughout a lot of the high schools, and as well as attendance. Like a lot of, in my school, past school, like we're struggling with our attendance. And again, attendance is a part of like, I don't feel motivated to go to school, or nothing driving me to go to school. And administrators and teachers aren't working. Like as a student, I feel like they could do a better job at trying to get us to go there. There's a lot of like punishments that are taken, but there's not necessarily any solution. And then there's also, I'm also a part of this group. I believe it was something that we were a part of, but the behavioral something of the governor, I don't know, the coalition, implemented these different groups into numerous schools, high schools, focusing on different topics. So one of them was opioid use, one of them is marijuana use, one of them is alcohol use. I know for classical it's suicide, and these are like the different topics that are often addressed within those schools. And I know that there's prevention work going on there, but I would say that there's a big disconnect between the administrators and teachers and the students that actually attend schools. a lot of the administrators and teachers, as a student, it's like, you guys like try to address this, but your way of addressing this is not actually addressing the problem. Like, it's more or less like, we don't want this to happen on our property, so we're just gonna make it very difficult for you to do it on our property. But that leads to people just skipping school or being sneaky, and it just makes it a problem worse for the kid.
Thank you. Beautifully articulated.
I also wanted to share, there's Shannon Gormley from Central High School. Her 10th grade civics class reached out to the city of Providence, and mental health is something that they want to address in their school as well. They want to create kind of like this quiet room. They want to teach the students about alternative ways to take care of their mental health, to get away from their cell phones and the media. They want to create a group, and they want to have a health fair. I know that Natalie spoke with Shannon, but it's stalling. Just the whole red tape type of thing. And Kevin and Josh, through this summer, were there other things that you were talking about at schools that we talked about? Did you want to share?
Like at our school, so in particular the East Bay Met, I feel like we're kind of limited to a lot of things. We're kind of like the little brother or little sibling of the Providence campus and P Street. We don't really get as much attention as the campus up here does. We only have, in terms of like mental health, we have great support. We have a social worker, we have a substance abuse counselor, which in a public school, a few people on the staff probably wouldn't be the best idea, but we have a very small school of 100 kids at the Newport Met. But the issue that we have is in terms of like physical health. We lost our security guard. We don't have a security guard right now. He went up to the Providence campus, and we only have a nurse on Wednesdays. The other 4 days she is at the Providence.
Not even on Wednesday.
Not even on Wednesday?
No.
I guess we don't have a nurse then.
No, we don't have a security guard, we don't have a nurse, and we also lost one of our math tutors.
Yeah. Also, when it comes to like again for physical health, like in gym class last year, pretty sure it was the day before my birthday, I fractured my ankle, and so my gym teacher comes up to me. I was trying to help me out, but he was teaching first aid to like with this other student. He tried using me as a practice dummy. I'm like, hey, I don't know what's going on, but like my ankle really hurts. I'd appreciate it like if I got actual help. But with the school as small as ours, like, and also the fact that our nurse is only there 1 day a week, there's really not much that we can do. I couldn't go down the stairs, and I also couldn't walk on my own. I got wheeled in an office chair to the parking lot to get my dad's car to go to the hospital. But when it comes to like the mental health, the support around it is great. My advisor is great. The way it works is freshman year or whenever you join, you're put in an advisory with the same group of students and the same advisor. You are going to spend the majority of your day with them. Oh, sorry. It kind of just becomes like a small family with some arguments in between. Small family.
That's what it is.
Sounds like a small thing.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I want to contribute as a parent, especially as a middle schooler and an elementary. One of the things that I'm hearing is a lot about bullying. We're still seeing a lot of that happening in elementary and middle school. If that could be something also that, and I think it's about messaging. I think the kids get it. I just wish there was a little bit more communication with the parents as to what's happening in the schools to discuss this, right? Like, so that we know to have the same message at home. And then another thing that comes to mind, and this was discussed at the policy meeting, at the board meeting, is the concept of what is recess, what does it mean? Why is it important? And I don't want I guess from a board member's perspective, I'm not looking for a reaction to the whole recess situation. I'm looking for solutions, right? So it might take longer than people expect it to take for us to get where we need to be. But I think it's something, I remember when my child was at one of the schools in second grade, the punishment was taking away recess. And I would email the teacher, like, you can't do that per law, my child needs to have recess. And so, or like, if they were too loud getting out of the cafeteria, recess was taken away. We're talking about 103, third graders, like there's no way that they're gonna be 100% quiet. And so that's definitely something that I would, I feel like it when Rosemary asked about the groups, I feel like everything that we've talked about falls within, nutrition and physical activity, social emotional learning, and healthy relationships. And how do we? It crosses over. Yeah, it crosses over. And so how do we, all address the same topic, but from its different lens? I think that's something that's important, because I feel like last year we were all working on 9 different topics, right, related to what we thought was our topic. But how can we take like one big topic and address it from the different lenses? So how do we address bullying from nutrition and and physical activity, and from social emotional learning, and from healthy relationships? How do we take each one of those big topics and address it from the different ways and come up with a big plan as a group within our small groups to be able to move these things forward faster, right? The more voices that we have, the more we're able to move things. So I would love to see that from the work group. And the chairman asked me, I think I will be joining social emotional learning.
I just wanted to say, just was thinking talk to Ms. Hakim, I'm gonna talk with other board members, even the board president, to see we can create another subcommittee, just ruling attendance. Yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna be meeting with Ms. Hakim, so there's some time that how we're gonna proceed doing so.
So you got a third.
What if the fourth subcommittee would be?
We're gonna come up with a name, so basically.
I didn't tell you right now, so I wanted to make sure I didn't miss that, that's all, okay.
Oh.
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
So do we want to split up? I mean, we don't have, I want to respect everyone's time, and I know we do have a presentation at the end from Sodexo, but even just to kind of split up, even if we can kind of get the group situated, figure out who's like going to possibly lead or co-lead. This way, after this meeting, we can maybe start sending out, like subcommittee meetings, and get that underway. So.
Yes.
Good, okay, all right, 5 minutes. I know, like 5 minutes, really, just to kind of split up and then figure out, where people want to go. I know because Gina is stepping down from Healthy Schools, Healthy Relationships, I can definitely kind of step in for now, so.
Where are we going?
Yeah, so I guess Healthy Relationships over here. We'll do nutrition, because you're doing nutrition and physical activity, and then social emotional learning on that side. I kind of feel like that's where people are situated, so.
So good to see you. You want to talk to the chair?
So we'll come back at like 5:15.
sorry, I was a little bit lucky to do that. Yeah, I'm not in the
No, I think it's fine.
But did you work?
I know you're. I know, but I didn't say like I go now or. Yeah. You guys know
I'll be
I'm just gonna grab
But our goal was I think the freshman families in the summer, that list that we created, we got it dedicated to students and we shared what resources. And that was one of our. So, I don't know if they're going to do anything with it, but I did hear that there's stalling in terms of, so, yeah, I don't know. Like, they just haven't, so, I don't know. I guess that's and I was thinking like, yeah, so it's kind
He may not like
Right, so like, trained on activities.
I don't know, I'm not saying
No, that's really good.
I know, I put it on my lap, but then when I kind of went off and I don't know where.
I know Do you want us to?
Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, let's start there. Well, we still, we want to wrap up. And so we have the presentation. And we just did.
It's actually, it's bigger.
I'm doing something, I'm still writing something.
So nice to see you.
Yeah. I'm here to try to get the prevention out there about.
That's an underscore, not a that.
I got
Struggling today, yeah.
I also Chris's on the security staff.
Sorry.
No, I don't.
No, I don't.
I was just talking to them and I'm trying to gauge.
So how do we educate?
Five? What's happening? I was talking about all of a sudden she acted. Yeah. Like she always had a little bit of sweat. It's like every day. I know what's about to order, I know what's going to and what's to talk.
There's other kids that are Memorial, kids that know yeah, we're recycling and also, so we have like, this is a share, so we have to get the schools to be range.
We're beyond that now.
So we can't put like that, there's unopened bills.
Yeah.
And they pour off the label. Custodians are not lugging all these bags all around, you know, liquids.
So I can always like.
And then recycle them, milk cartons, the juice boxes, or
If they ever want to.
trash goes in there. They have people who gets composted. And then at the end of the school year, this company each got theirs back. 200 pounds of compost. So, and then the kids stack the trays here. Right now, they're styrofoam. So they're really high. We buy a refrigerator. So the refrigerator right in the cafeteria. And so, and they put it right up and free food.
We do it together. Everything we do
And
is.
so the kids eat breakfast and lunch, and then we have programs. So we're trying to capture as much food that was going to the trash, you know, edibles, and instead get it out of the waste stream, get it back into the trash.
Where like we can adjust their schedule. And then stay till 7 or whatever. Or go home for 3 hours.
I'll send you a,
But, you know,
so I can give you
it's basically a start of launch.
little video.
We don't, yeah, we don't.
She brought in a bowl from home, and go into our refrigerator, take out fruits and vegetables, put it in the trash, particularly in a period like today.
But there's certainly not a overlap.
So, and then she said, you know, it's amazing, these kids, because our school kids, they aren't eating breakfast in the elementary school. And this class at 4, 10:30, right before lunch, they're at the Sancha, that's a
Compile it.
So, I mean, they're paying attention to that. So, they will make videos so I can, I'll send you.
Among the others.
Right. Yeah, no, it's not junk food, and I didn't jack up on food. Okay, yeah, I'll send you.
Deciding on, how we're gonna meet, you were gonna meet when. No, and I don't want to set anyone up, it's a great conversation. I just feel that, I don't want to.
Any other time, you know.
So we'll come back
But, I
together.
mean, I went to
And
the.
Nutrition education.
How can we need to be anything that I want to do or.
Yeah, it is until November. though.
I prefer in person, but I don't.
You guys,
Contact.
like what you do.
I don't.
How often These are gonna be every other, every other month, there's not, yeah, there's not.
One part of Providence to the other, I was like, yeah, I do it on my bicycle. Yeah, so I don't. wherever you guys
Yeah.
can meet.
So I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
like, yeah. Great opportunity.
So do we want to start off?
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah. Our food that we're starting to kind of grow. Like week.
Yeah.
And then is there anything that the school has?
Yeah, it's the 26th. The 26th. Oh, that's a breakfast.
Say, hey.
And I think it's got to 9 a.m.
I was trying to do both.
Yes, so.
It stops at 7:15 and so
Well, you know what I do?
That's
Dishwashers. So we're rolling out this month.
No.
We did fix it.
So we had, last year we had kids from.
Yeah, and so like setting all that up.
Yeah, so is it going to always be the last?
Yes.
It looks like it, so it's 9:29, 11:29. So you like all of
So we can be as.
Yeah, that works for me.
I can ask about where the surveying says how from the day one.
It's up to you, I can get one here too, so whatever works for you guys, I don't mind.
I'll invite.
Yeah, so.
I think I'm actually.
They came up together.
Pretty good
Then she'll reach out. It's okay. You can keep it. Yeah, because we have our whole Google Doc and
What time do you guys need? 4, 4:30?
Yes, I got
Yes. So it's like 4.
We call it like the happiest burger. But, you know.
4:30 is fine with me.
That's gonna be text from you. Oh, don't worry about me.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
After hours.
Seeing that every day.
I don't mind sending that out.
Radio. Okay, the road isn't that bad.
Everybody will consider me But actually, we just got a woman.
Okay, I get
Make sure that she got it.
That's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, with vegetables, fruits.
I think she just like.
Yes, nice to meet you. And I'll definitely send you, I'll send you some. Yeah.
No, she said we'll be down there right around.
I mean, it's kind of a choice, more because.
Before we broke out. But let me just make sure.
I can look
I have, she texted me earlier saying, yes.
Honestly, Yara, 541.
No, man.
He said the last one. All right.
So you guys are making.
It's.
I'm not getting her. I will have to answer that.
Because this influence.
That's like,
Thank you so much, everybody. Now we're gonna.
And I.
Yes. Yeah, now we're gonna do like a quick report out for each subcommittee. We're gonna start with nutrition and physical activity.
Say it again, I'm so sorry.
Just a quick report.
Oh.
Allowing that.
Okay.
Sorry.
My brain was kind of good.
Well, I can start if you wish. We have 5 members in our subcommittee group for physical and nutritional activities. Nutrition and physical activity. I apologize. So we will be sharing this information with the director as well, and we'll be deciding on how we're meeting, where we're meeting, and share that with the chairman as well. And we're really excited. As I say, we are attending, we're hopefully attending the Healthy Breakfast in October workshop, which is on the 27th. It starts at 7:30 in the morning. And anybody else, if you're interested in registering, I would recommend that you do that directly online. I can send you that information as well. And we'll take it from there. So really excited.
So as we said. And, next, we have a social and emotional learning.
I'll report to that group. So we had 5 members. I sent the email to you with the members so that you can share with Natalie. So what we talked about was essentially that we're aware that the MTSS policy passed, and sort of curious of what's happened since that, like what are some of the events and things that have happened. So I think that's what we want to focus on our first meeting, but also thinking about once we know sort of like what's been happening with MTSS and social emotional learning and all of that, how can we influence that work and branch out from there. So that's what we have for now.
Next, we have a healthy relationships.
We had a very robust conversation, and I think we had 5, although I'm not really sure if we qualified because Gina is in this. But anyway, we decided that we will meet in October, and then once we have that meeting, we'll figure out how frequently we'll meet, whether it's going to be either monthly or bi-monthly. And we talked a lot about looking into like the bullying and the peer pressure, since that came up today, and it can be an underlying, who joins together with the social and emotional. Anything else?
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you so much, and thank you everybody. I think next we have the presentations with Sodexo.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Kelly DeAngelis, Sustainability Manager, and I'm going to pick up where we left off last year. So we'll be talking about January through June of the 2022-23 school year. We'll run through, as the agenda will just be the numbers, the story, local purchasing, and then we'll kind of flash forward to where we are today and answer any questions. So if we go, you can go to the next slide, and the next one. So I wanted to walk you through some of the numbers. So here you'll see a snapshot of the average monthly participation from January to June in breakfast and lunch. And it fluctuates, it goes up and down through the year. Oh, that's hard to see, but elementary numbers run between like 60 and 70% for breakfast, but middle school is like 20 to 30, and high school is 10 to the teens. So breakfast is definitely tough for middle school and high school. Lunch participation, elementary is the same, about 70%, middle school about 40 to 50%, and high school 40%. So breakfast is always the challenge. We know a lot of our students are late. We have a chronic absentee problem, but the numbers remained relatively steady. Yeah.
So one thing to shed some light on the numbers is the elementary breakfast is a little low than previous years. Usually we're up close to 80, but during COVID, a lot of elementary schools dropped off with breakfast in the classroom. And that's why you see those numbers in that range, because if you're doing breakfast in the classroom, you're averaging a low of 80%. And if you're doing outside breakfast in the classroom, you're averaging, in anywhere from teens to 30%. If you're doing a hybrid kind of grab and go at the door, depending on how many doors you have, how much staff we have, you can be in that 30 range or all the way up to 80. We have an elementary school that has trouble with delivery because of elevator, multiple floors, and we do a grab and go, and they're doing 80%. So it's all how principals work with us and how well the school wants to run it. that it is the success. And the reason why high school is so low at breakfast is, you think about, they have lunches, 20-minute lunches, 4 lunches for a high school. They have 1 15-minute breakfast. So it's, even if every kid wanted to come and eat, it would be impossible. So that's why breakfast in the classroom is huge. We do breakfast in the classroom at PCTA as a pilot, and we started it back up. And they do over 80% participation for the kids that are there at the time. So it's a huge numbers compared to that. Lunch, those numbers are pretty typical for our type of absenteeism in the 3 levels. We are, one of the goals we have this year is to increase our numbers by a minimum of 10% to 15%. So over the presentations throughout the year, you'll see those rise. Just with different initiatives that we're going to do this year. So just the background on that. Any questions on that?
That was going to be my question.
Okay.
So you
I wanted to give a few highlights here on the sustainability front. We had 16 of our satellite elementary schools begin composting in the month of March. So by end of March, all of our schools were composting. And that was, thanks in large part to support from Rhode Island Schools Recycling Project, who launched their programs in 4 schools last year and kind of got the ball rolling working with Sodexo to get us composting in all of our schools, which is huge because I'm pretty sure that we're the only district that's composting district-wide. So it's something we'd really like to highlight. We had our April break meal distribution on the 11th of April, and that was something that the district sponsored because it was, so successful during COVID when it was covered by the federal program. But we served 7,200 boxes with 5 days of meals per box. 20% of our spend was on local items, and that was 90 tons of food, or the weight of 7.5 buses. And then we did a huge push in the spring for elementary student surveys to replicate what we did the previous spring for secondary schools. So we had over 3,400 participants, and that's like 41% of students, which is a really high number for as far as surveys go. If we go to the next slide, kind of looking at the story, I have here kind of a summary of those survey responses. What do you like for lunch? What don't you like for lunch? What would you like on the salad bar? Do you like breakfast for lunch? Most people said yes. We are always looking into the whole grain requirement, which poses a problem. Most kids, like most adults, prefer regular rice and pasta and whatever, as opposed to whole grain. So we saw that reflected again. And then, do you have enough time for lunch? And that varies by school, by year, but we know that it's a very quick lunch, and there is a time frame that students should have at every school. We had a couple of parent nutrition committee meetings. We had many end of year barbecues in June, and then we did our annual Sodexo scholarships to 1 student at each high school, received $1,000. To look at the student geared menus, new things that Aaron, as director of wellness, kind of introduced. We did taste tests with Yucca Fries, new Maine grown frozen broccoli, and we did a really fun honey stick samples for elementary schools from Quidnet Honey. And then those Yucca Fries ended up on the menu, along with these other items you see here, and our special monthly muffin that rotates from Shree.
So one thing about this, the taste test, so just so everyone's aware, so the rest of USDA, when it comes to whole grains, we have to serve, they say you have to serve 80% of the items, being 51% whole grain or more. And what that means is usually like a bread product would be 51%. Because if you had a 100% whole grain bread product, bite this. Something like whole grain rice, that's 100% whole grain. So there are some things that we eat in society and cultures eat that aren't typically whole grain. And Rhode Island has a state law that says 100% of our grains have to be whole grain. And it's very tough because some things people aren't used to eating that way. When whole grain started in school lunch, it was very tough. But people adapt. Breads right now, nobody cares if they're whole grain or not. You go to the grocery store, almost half the bread's the whole grain. Think 10 years back, when Obama was president, and that's when we started, you'd see like you go to the pasta section, there's 3 pastas that are whole grain or something else, and then all the rest are white. So you see the struggle that we're having, that we're trying to serve this stuff, and the kids really don't want it, they're not eating it, we're eating the purpose of our program. So we've been trying to advocate to align more with the federal government, and the story is out there, whether or not people act on it. It's very hard to change a law, so there's a lot of things that have to go into it, but that's what we're advocating for. And then a couple of the things, so that broccoli, all the broccoli that we buy comes from me. So it doesn't come from California or another country. So all the broccoli that we buy, which is pretty crazy, comes from this company, and it's a really great product.
So if we move on to local purchasing, I also have a local purchasing report, which shows in detail by month. We actually spent almost $200,000 between January and June on locally and regionally grown, harvested, and landed items, which is really exciting. And so that includes Rhode Island and New England. And that is a result of our partnership with our produce vendor, Rock's Fresh Foods, who is Rhode Island-based, items that we buy from Cisco. And also we were able to finally partner with Farm Fresh RI, and we also received a $100,000 grant for local foods through that partnership. So that was very exciting. And we also attended the Farm to Institution New England Summit in Providence last spring at Farm Fresh RI. Our new menu items that were local, as we mentioned, the Maine frozen broccoli, and Aaron found some local tortillas made in Springfield. So that's exciting.
One thing we did forget that we didn't put on here, I just remember now. So there's a local company in Springfield that makes sofrito. It's fresh ingredients, like there's like 5 or 6 ingredients in it. They freeze it, and we use that in all of our rice dishes that we make, all of our Spanish rice dishes that we make. We put that in there, and a couple of our meat recipes are part of the seasoning that goes on it. So that's another item that goes in.
And then to kind of wrap up, I just wanted to say flash forward. So let's think about what's going on now. We hired 3 new food corps members who joined Sodexo, including Kate here, which is very exciting. And so they're taking over taste tests and social media and sustainability for the school. So we'll have a much broader reach. They've already done a lot of taste tests and things like that. So it's going really well. And we're the first district in Rhode Island to have food corps, which is very exciting. They operate, in all across kind of the eastern US and DC. So yeah, thank you. And we're continuing to do exciting monthly days featuring local foods. We're going to do a vegetarian day, other promotional things, and harvest of the month items. And some of our challenges continue to be staffing. As usual, we know it's lots of companies are feeling this, and we're still feeling it, after the pandemic. Competitive foods being served during lunchtime or right after service, while students are still in the cafeteria. And then Aaron mentioned whole grain regulations. So yeah.
Yes. One question regarding the whole grains regulation, because when you talk about kids don't want to eat it or they don't like it, I know, like for myself, like I have a sensitive digestive tract, and the spice system cannot always tolerate that whole grain consumption at once. Is there any correlation with that with the students, perhaps, in terms of any feedback?
We haven't looked at, the only thing is like we did that survey and said, named a couple of items that were key in whole grains and whether or not they eat that on a regular basis and whether or not they would eat more of it if it was not. So trying to get that correlation of, are people not participating in it because, we're not serving the right things, or is it because it's whole grain and they don't want to eat it? So, or, they don't want to eat it just because it's not palatable for them, right? So,
Right, especially. Yeah, so I think that's a good point though, as we continue to work on that.
Thank you.
And then, as usual, happy fall. You can find us on social media. And like I said, we've got our new food corps members who are working on that. And there's a lot of fun stuff going on there. Sodexo Providence Child Nutrition Program on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And then we also have a TikTok, so you can check us out. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not doing it, but somebody might be doing it.
This is amazing book. This was presented in June, so we can actually know what's going on. But thank you so much. And second, do you have any questions?
No, I concur, it's amazing, just excited to be a part of this, working group, and let's get to work.
What about other people in the subcommittee? Any questions? Great. Without any questions, the next line item is to adjourn the meeting. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it out
Let me just turn the camera off.
It has my contact information.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm gonna send you guys that one.